Hey there everyone, I'm Samuel Johnson and welcome back to the Alien Force Retrospectives. And today we're going to be looking at episode 5 of Ben 10 Alien Force, All That Glitters. And in this episode pretty much picks up from where Kevin's big score ended. Ben now has that little holo viewer that he got from Volcanus that was somehow on the black market. And pretty much he's been looking at it nonstop, and so he's decided that he's going to heed his grandfather's advice and look for people to join their little group. Though at the same time, Gwen and Kevin are kind of having a few quote unquote relationship issues because Kevin still has not asked Gwen out, despite the fact that they obviously like each other. So Ben decides to use Kevin's plumber's badge to try and find other plumbers, or at least other plumbers' kids, to join their team. And so while they're trying to find a trace, while they're trying to drive to somewhere where another plumber's badge is supposed to be, a girl named Trina, I think. Yeah, her name's Trina. Or it's Tina. I don't know. Maybe someone got it wrong. But she's kind of walking by. She's kind of walking by the highway, is wobbling a little, and winds up accidentally wanders out into the street, causing an accident, and a truck to drive right into the support of a bridge. So Ben, Gwen, and Kevin go try and help people get off the bridge from being hurt, help people safely get off the bridge. But excuse me, but Trina's still wandering around. She almost gets hit by a car when suddenly this guy with blonde hair, a long scarf, and pretty much he's a pretty boy, comes flying in. Literally, he flies in and swoops her and gets her out of the way. And it turns out he's the one with the plumber's badge, as he has it hoisted on his belt buckle. So after they get everyone to safety, Ben and Co. introduce themselves, and the guy reveals that his name is Michael Morningstar, and and like with Alan, he got the plumber's badge from his father. So like, and so as such, the crew decide to meet up. After the crew introduces themselves, Mike says that he was a fan of Ben's work, and so he invites the group to his mansion. As yeah, he turns out he's rich, but pretty much when he meets up with the Gwen, they seem to kind of have an immediate connection, and so Kevin obviously is getting jealous. He doesn't like him, and pretty much the guy just looks like the whole package. He's just, not only does he have superpowers and he's handsome, but he has all this tech in his own. He has this tech in his own side mansion. He does all this nice stuff. He monitors police reports. He pretty much is like his own. He's pretty much like this. He's pretty much like his town superhero. As such, they start wanting to know what's exactly. So Ben pretty much decides to jump the gun and decides to invite him to be part of their group, which he accepts. But at the time, they suddenly get an alert from the nearby power station because something's saving power. So the group go to investigate, and they find what looks like a zombie girl just kind of absorbing the electricity. Like her skin's all dry, her skin's gray, dry, pull back, and on her arms are all these weird marks that she has. Which, I'll talk about that later. But pretty much, so she winds up attacking. It turns out that she's not the only one there. She turns out she's not the only one there. There's more of them. So the group fights them. Mike says not to hurt them, that maybe they can reverse them. But but pretty much everyone goes their own ways, with Ben going alien, Kevin absorbing metal, and Mike shooting energy blast because that's what he can do apparently. Excuse me. But however, when Gwen tries using her own powers, it turns out that something's wrong. They suddenly break, and so Mike decides to help her by giving her some of his energy, allowing her to hold them back. But then during the fight, Mike winds up blasting some pipes that block the team off from the girls, and so they escape. Kevin, of course, gets mad at Mike for making the mistake, but Ben says that it was just a mistake. We'll grow a bit better as we work together. But at this point, Kevin, of course, does not buy this. He thinks something's not right, and on top of that, Gwen is getting more infatuated with Mike and seems to be a bit more airheaded. So, as such, Mike and Gwen wind up going off, but Kevin, of course, still is not trusting him. He thinks something's not right, and so Ben and Kevin go back to Mike's mansion. more like Kevin brings Ben to Mike's mansion, because Ben is pretty much not buying Kevin's suspicions. He thinks Mike's a good guy, but Kevin still has his problems. But while they're trying to break in, Trina from before comes in, and it turns out that she has all the same marks on her arms that all the zombie girls did, and she's here demanding to see Mike. However, Kevin starts realizing, says that he saw those same marks on all the zombie girls, and he's also noticing that Gwen has been wearing her sleeves a little longer, and we actually do see that she actually has a mark on her arm. So Ben is, while not believing that this Mike's the cause of it, he does believe that something's wrong, that something's happening with all the girls, and yeah, it turns out to be Mike, as he brought Gwen to this weird warehouse or whatever, and he proceeds to literally suck all the energy out of her. As it turns out he's pretty much been doing this to all the girls, and the reason they're acting like zombies because he probably took a little too much, and as such, they've all been just they're pretty much just dried husks just wandering around. So they manage to track Mike using Kevin's plumber's badge, but by the time they get there, he's almost sucked Gwen dry. As now his skin is gold, he's brimming with power, and Gwen's as much of a dried husk as all the schoolgirls who, for some reason, are there. Don't ask me how they get there. Maybe he just keeps them in the back. I don't know. So Kevin and Ben try fighting off Mike, but he's too powerful. He almost kills them, but Gwen manages to come to her senses, and she absorbs all her energy back. And of course, she manages to knock him down. Mike tries getting all the girls to give him, the rest of the girls that are there, to give him more energy, but rather than helping him, they attack him and manage to get their power back. I don't know. Maybe it's two-way. I don't know. I really don't. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But pretty much after this is over, Ben acknowledges that he screwed up. They have to be more careful. They can't just jump in, and so everyone, and pretty much they just leave Michael there. I don't know what they do. They probably just leave him there to die. I don't know. Maybe the girls arrest him. I don't really get it either. But honestly, the episode's fine for what it is. I think that's kind of my general consensus for most of these episodes. They're fine. First of all, let me talk about some character stuff. I like seeing Ben trying to take initiative, but at the same time, it shows that he's still not perfect. When he first encounters someone when he first encounters someone with a plumber's badge, he's quick to judge and think they're good, even though it actually does kind of show the flaws in that Ben is not completely trustworthy. And we do see more of Gwen and Kevin kind of nipping at each other. It also proves to me that Gwen is a little bit more salty. Well, probably still just as salty. It's just that she's still matured, but she just, I love, one of my favorite parts is the fact that she just keeps how she and Kevin get into their fights, as she just keeps rubbing it in his face over and over and over, even saying how, if you say the word plumber over and over again, it just loses all meaning, so all chances to ask someone out. It's rather amusing, and it's just kind of nice. And then we have now let's talk about Michael Morningstar. This character does become a recurring villain later on in the show. I'm not going to spoil it right here. I'll just wait till when he comes back. But otherwise, his character is pretty much the spoiled rich kid, as when Ben and Kevin confront him after he is absorbing Gwen's powers, he pretty much says, why even use your powers to help people? You can do whatever you want, which, in all honesty, kind of makes sense of why he would come to that conclusion, because he's rich, he goes to a prep school, that's where he got all these girls, he kind of does everything he kind of does whatever he wants. So I'm kind of guessing that the instant he discovered that he had these powers, his only reaction is, look, so how can I use these so how can these benefit me? So, and again, you can probably make the argument that maybe he wants to use them to help people a little, but if that was the case, why have all this extra stuff? Actually, you know what? That does raise a question. Why would he have all this stuff in his room? Having stuff in this room, maybe does he use it to keep track of all the girls, where they are? It's not explained, because he has all this tech, and according to supplemental material, the plumber's badge that he had wasn't even his. So I don't know. Maybe he raided a plumber's state. Maybe he actually attacked a real plumber and got all this stuff. I don't know. I really don't know. It's a semi plot hole. I think another big plot hole is another big plot. Yeah, sorry. Another big plot hole is the fact that he seems to be draining these girls of all their energy, but they still keep coming back. in some ways, it kind of seems a little weird, because especially Trina, because she was apparently wandering on the highway because she was trying to get away from Michael Morningstar, because that's why she was groggy and acting weird. But then later on, she's come back to his mansion at demanding that she see him. And I think I honestly have my own little theory about that, though. I think for me, I honestly believe that his absorption powers kind of have an addicting slash mind have an addicting endorphin side effect, as Gwen kind of suffers the same thing. Like, he absorbed some of her energy before while they were there. He just kind of grabbed her arm and just briefly absorbed a little bit. Hence why she had had that mark on her arm. As that's why. However, after she winds up losing her energy, she goes to him for support. He gives her more energy, and then she becomes droopy eyed. I think that maybe it has a bit of an endorphin flow to it. Makes that not only do people want to makes that people not don't fight back, but they want to have their energy sucked up more. Hence why the girls were at the power station trying to get energy, which honestly I don't really think makes sense. Honestly, I think I can understand Michael's power being able to absorb essence or energy. That would make sense in some regard, but just absorbing electricity doesn't really make a lot of sense, because I think their natural bodies their normal bodies should still work. Otherwise, it just kind of feels, I don't know. That's a slight plot hole, but that's kind of my theory about why this has happened, and even why Gwen was just so quick to give in to him. But I can't think of anything else. Well, actually, I haven't even talked about my thoughts on Mike. I just talked about what kind of character he is. I think as a villain, he's nice. He's a spoiled rich kid, but he has kind of an air of class to him that even he knows is a load of crap. But he's definitely is a more serious villain. Like, and you can kind and again, like I said, you can kind of see why he would turn to being a villain. He's just a rich kid that always got what he wanted. So naturally, when he gets powers, he doesn't want to use them to help people. He just wants to use them to further get what he wants. So yeah, you think he's an alright villain. He appears later, but yeah. What else can I say? Oh, there's one more thing I want to talk about. This episode also introduces another alien. This introduces Chromastone. Ben winds up turning into him during the fight with the zombie girls. Honestly, Chromastone's not really one of my favorites. I mean, he's not bad. His design looks nice. He's a giant purple crystal man his body again. His body's made of pink crystals. His outfit is just kind of a giant purple jumpsuit or whatever. He has one eye and he can absorb an energy and shoot it back. But not gonna lie, he's not really one of my favorites. He's all right, ish, but otherwise, I prefer Diamond Head. Diamond Head can just do so much more. Chromastone, while not a inherently bad alien, he just kind of. I feel like he's not really He could have. There could have been more with him, but he's just kind of more. He absorbs energy and can just shoot it back out. And admittedly, in some cases, that can be kind of cool. That can be rather cool, and he is indestructible because of his silicon body, almost indestructible. But that's another episode. But otherwise, I would prefer Diamond. I prefer Diamond Head over Chromastone. So yeah, there's that. So I really can't think of much else to say. This episode doesn't really give me much to work with. We see Gwen and Kevin more butting heads in their quote unquote relationship. We see Ben trying to take an initiative, which ultimately blows up in his face. We introduce a new villain, which I think is an alright villain. I think overall the episode's just alright. It doesn't really leave much of an impression for what it does. It's just there. It's just kind of there to help further things along and introduce a character or two. Otherwise, it's just alright. Nothing really memorable about it. It's there. You don't hate it, but it doesn't really do much for you, so yeah. All That Glitters is an alright episode. I can't really think of what else much to say. It's just So, sorry to disappoint you with the quality of this vlog. May not be as good, but next time, hopefully next time things pick back up as we see as we see exactly what happened in Max and all the time he's been missing. So again, Samuel Johnson, thank you for watching. I hope you were able to withstand all this, and we'll see you next week. Take care.